Welcome Yamhill County to Speaking Frankly. I'm your host, Howie Harkema, and our tagline is, "And how we doin'?" Today I have a guest from McMinnville Lions Club, Brian Sauer. Nice to have you with us, Brian.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for being here today. I know you've got a lot to talk about today. Let's begin with McMinnville Lions Club was established when?
We were chartered in 1940 as a part of the Lions organization in the United States and actually worldwide. So, yeah, we've been around for a few years.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yes.
So are you guys a 501c3 nonprofit?
That's correct, yes. We're a nonprofit organization, and everything that we make, we spend as benefits for people.
Right. And you guys do some fundraising, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yes, that's correct.
So what is your mission statement?
So our mission statement is to serve humanity and the populations throughout the world through brotherhood and doing community events, and our main vision program is vision.
Right.
And we want to provide people with vision help and to provide care and testing for children as well as adults.
That's fantastic. What a great thing to do.
Thanks. And then our secondary, there's hearing as well, that goes along with the vision. And a secondary one for here in McMinnville is medical devices, which is a program that I coordinate and run.
That's fantastic. So let's talk about the medical devices piece. What kind of devices do you have available for those who are in need?
Okay. We have a facility here in McMinnville, and it's located at 421 Southeast Evans Street in Prestige Rehab Center. And we have a multitude of medical devices, hospital beds, walkers, wheelchairs, commodes, canes, crutches, nebulizers, CPAP machines.
Wow.
The list goes on and on. There's probably 30 or 40 different types of devices that we have.
Ian, can you bring up that first slide, please? Yeah. So the next one. So let's talk about Jerry Wolf and optical shop.
Jerry Wolf was one of the early people to join the program, the Lions, and he ran and still does run the optical shop out on 99W. And as a Lions member and an optician, he was deeply involved in the vision program. And he would have people come in and ask about the vision program or needing glasses. And at the same time, he would say, people would say, I need some crutches or a cane or something like that.
Sure.
And so Jerry started to collect those items. And it got to the point, and he worked this all out of his shop. And it got to the point where we had 3 storage units out on Lafayette Avenue, and people would come in and say, I need a hospital bed. And Jerry would jump in his car and go out there with them, and they'd get them a hospital bed and take care of them, get them fixed up with their devices. And this went on for about 40 years.
40 years?
40 years. What an amazing gentleman and program that he put together.
What a blessing to community.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I retired 2 years ago after working for a company for 40 years, and I'd been in the Lions for 20 years. But was not able to do much because I traveled all the time.
Oh.
And when I came in, I said I was interested in the medical devices program, and Jerry was, after 40 years, he was ready to take a step back.
You think?
Yeah. So I was fortunate enough to be able to take the program over from him, and everything that we do is thanks to him. What an amazing gentleman, and he set this all up for us.
Did he get you up to speed on all of this as well?
Yes, he did. He spent. I didn't know, a nebulizer from a CPAP machine, So he spent a fair amount of time in a transition and talking about the program and how to run it and how to help people. And because that's what we're all about, is helping people.
You bet.
And so we run the program, and there's no cost for people to come down. We loan the products out, and they need to sign a non-disclosure, a release of liability form.
Sure.
So as I said, we're located at 421 Southeast Evans at Prestige Rehab. So that's South Evans. That's dead ends towards Enfield.
Right.
So a lot of people will call me and say, we're at the courthouse. We don't know, we can't find you. And so I have to remind them to go south.
Yeah.
I think we have a list of volunteers, or a picture of some volunteers. We work with all volunteers.
Oh, will you go to the next slide then?
That's a picture of the facility.
Okay.
And along with our phone number, if you want to volunteer, we are run strictly with volunteers.
Okay.
And we have limited hours because we can't get enough volunteers to help us. So we're open Mondays and Wednesdays from 9 to 11 and 1 to 3. Perfect. So kind of limited hours, but that's the volunteers that we have.
But I'm sure that a lot of retirees or those who want to volunteer need those limited hours in order to do what they need to do.
That's correct. And also, the phone number that was showing up there is my cell phone number.
Yes.
And if somebody needs something outside of those hours, we can usually accommodate that. And I like to bunch people together, so we make one trip down there and get people there together, and we can get a lot of things out at one time.
Right.
And as part of our volunteer crews, we do have 2 residents at Prestige who live there, and they're there every day, all day, and they have graciously volunteered to help us. And it's not uncommon for me to call and say, somebody needs a wheelchair. I'm out picking something up. Can you go down and help them out? And they'll go down and open up the doors and help them out.
That's fantastic.
Give us a call.
That's a great relationship to have. Ian, can you go to the next slide? That is some of the stuff in your storeroom.
Correct. And I need to throw a big thank you out to Prestige here for this room. We previously had those 3 storage units out on Lafayette Avenue, and not a very good place to run a program from. It's cold and
wet,
and they don't really want us living there, or working out of there. So it was about 5 years ago. We had a member who was a director at Prestige, and he said that he would like to help out a lot with the program, and they had a room available there that wasn't being used. So we worked out an arrangement with their parent organization, and they give us this room to use. And it's wonderful. It's a lot more room than we had before, and we can be better organized.
Don't you love community collaboration?
Absolutely.
Isn't that fantastic?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a lot of those that
we'll talk about some of that. So can you bring up the next slide? There it is. Okay. I assume this is volunteers.
This is volunteers, yep. We have several people that are retired and want something to do, and have a community service spirit, and they come down there, and the volunteers just play an invaluable part, because we need to have people there open to give things out.
Right.
And it's not a real hard job. It's helping people. They come in, they say what they need, or they've called up and said, I need a hospital bed or a walker or something like that. And they'll come down there, and we just assist them in finding what they need.
Sure.
And then making sure that they fill out the paperwork, the release of liability. And the side benefits I hear from our volunteers are that the people that you meet are amazing.
Oh, I'm positive.
And the stories that they have to tell you about their lives, it's just, it's so heartwarming.
Well, it's a relationship.
Yes.
And you get to know somebody.
You know, you're to help somebody out when they're truly in need of something health-related. Yep. They really are thankful and appreciative.
That's fantastic. So, go ahead.
We can go on to the next slide.
Next slide,
I think.
yes.
So this, I talked a little bit
Wow.
before about the devices that we have, and you can see the list there. And we get these in, and these have all been cleaned because we get them as donations. So we will wipe them down and spray them with a disinfectant. So,
Sure.
So it's all cleaned up, and if there's something glaringly wrong with it, we'll repair it, or we don't give it out.
Right.
And we might cannibalize it.
Well, sometimes you have to.
Yeah, that's right. One of the gentlemen that was in the previous picture is a volunteer, works strictly in the, we have a little shop there, and he'll take things apart and take pieces from one to another to make good ones. So it's a valuable way for us to keep things out of the refuse stream as well. They don't get thrown away.
That's fantastic. And I assume that your volunteers are really know each other quite well by now.
Yes, they do.
And so
That's correct.
the camaraderie has to be fantastic, even between different people coming in to get stuff. So.
Absolutely. We do social events together even, so we host a wreath making party at our house, and we have people from the Lions, from the volunteer groups, from even some people that have come in and donated stuff. So
Wow.
it really is, it's heartwarming. So
Well, let's talk about vision care for kindergartners, second graders, fourth graders, and having annual screenings and possibly eyeglasses, and the amount of students that you actually facilitate.
all right, every year the Lions for the state of Oregon will test every grade school students in the kindergarten, second grade, and fourth grade.
Right.
And we have special devices, testing devices, that the student will come in and they look at them, and it's like a big viewfinder.
Sure.
The old viewfinders we
Right.
used to have. And the student will look in there, and there'll be a little flashing light, and it takes 3 seconds of no eye movement, and it will go in and it'll read, and it'll do 16 different tests.
Wow. In 3 seconds.
In 3 seconds, and it will pop up with a reading about their vision accuracy, and it'll also tell you if there's any other items that need to be taken care of.
Sure, glaucoma, those types
Absolutely,
of things. Sure.
blood pressure,
Yep.
all sorts of different things. So we can screen those, and the students come through. It's all anonymous. They are given a number.
Right.
By the school, and so there's no names associated.
But the school knows who they are.
The school knows,
Right.
yes. And the parents have to give permission also for this to be done. If there's parents that opt out of it,
Sure.
that's understandable as well. So we just get a little sticker with a number on it, and they come in, they'll look in there, we'll scan in or enter in their number first and scan it, and if the student has something that needs attention, it'll come up and it'll flag it, and it'll be through the machine that'll go into the computer and flag it and say there's an issue here.
Right.
And we'll then put a tag on their little sticker. They go back, and everything that from that point on is run through the school nurse.
Okay.
So all we do is the testing. We run the devices. And from there, the nurses will contact the parents and say, hey, there's an issue here, and don't know if you know it or not, but maybe they need glasses.
Right.
Or maybe there's some other eye issues that need to be addressed.
Right.
So, and from that point on, then they develop a treatment program, and we, as the Lions organizations in Oregon, can give out glasses. We do provide glasses
Right.
and eye exams.
Right.
At very low cost, and there's even the options for surgery. We work with the Lions Sight and Hearing Foundation in Portland, and they do surgeries. So
Unbelievable.
yeah, we do the numbers from last year, because we're just finishing up. We did the last school on Monday here.
Okay.
Last year we did 1,740 students
In
in McMinnville.
Wow.
Yes.
That's enormous.
Yeah, and with students that have an issue, we say they're referred. We give them a referral.
Sure.
And they would go to an optometrist or somebody like that. But the referral rate, depending upon the schools, it varies, but it's right around 15% of those students have something that they need to have investigated. So,
But at least they know,
yes.
and that's a great thing.
It really is because these are kids, and we hear all the time from teachers that how a student's performance increases because a child doesn't know that they can't see
Right.
the correct
How
way.
would they?
Yeah, they have nothing to compare it to if they've had an issue throughout their childhood.
Or even if they were colorblind or
Yes,
any of that.
Any of that. So to discover that and then to be able to correct that, and the teachers say that they see a big turnaround in the students after they've gotten glasses or had some other type of issues corrected.
Yeah, I would think there's a marked improvement once they have the glasses or surgery or any of that.
Correct.
Right.
So out of those 1,740 students, 15%, that's a lot of kids
Yes, it is.
that need to be checked out.
So what percentage of the students, it's 15%?
Correct. So we do that every year, and so we're hitting them at kindergarten, second grade, and fourth grade. So the next year, the second graders move up to third, so they don't get tested.
Right.
But in all, they're going to get tested 3 times through their grade school career. And they tell us that's when vision issues are really picked up.
Sure. So they might be great in kindergarten, but by the time they get to the 4th grade, there may be a problem.
That's
and,
correct.
and you wouldn't know it.
Yes.
So you're capturing that data and helping get the...
That's right. And so this is done throughout the state of Oregon. There's Lions chapters in a lot of different communities.
Sure.
And these, we have people that from the Lions Sight and Hearing Foundation in Portland that assist us. They bring out the testing devices and they set these all up with the schools throughout the state. So they're all scheduled, and so we get to see most of the students in the state.
Let's talk about general public and low-income citizens that also need these screenings and possibly glasses and what you guys do for them.
All right, in fact, there's going to be one of these community screening events this weekend.
Oh.
At Sue Buell School.
Okay.
And it's called, I got to look this up, so it's called a Family Fun Day.
Okay.
And it's
Do you know which day?
It's Saturday.
Okay. So this
Saturday
begins airing at 10:30 at night on this Saturday.
Yeah, so it'll be too late for that
Yeah.
one. But there's 2 or 3, maybe 4 of these throughout the year.
Okay.
There was one earlier this fall, I think it was in August at Linfield.
Okay.
And it was called Community Cares.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
and
remember
it's-
seeing that.
Yeah, and it's a group of organizations that get together, and we do the vision testing and other screenings along that line. And then there's other people that do wellness checks on blood pressure,
Sure.
dental, and it's open to the public, and you just need to come in, and we do testing there for adults and children.
So when you do these different events, do they reside on your Facebook page?
Yes, they do.
So people could know about
Yes,
it
yes.
as an event? Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
And those will be there, and we'll have our vision testing, and we have the actual devices that we talked about earlier. Those are calibrated for children, so we don't use those for adults.
Oh, okay.
But we have regular vision screening, which is the eye chart.
Right.
And we'll go through and test their vision. And if there's something that we see that needs to be some correction, we will give them the information and give them information on where to go
Right.
to get assistance.
That's awesome. So I know you got to fill out some paperwork in order to get the screenings and the glasses.
Correct.
And is that based on a sliding income type scenario?
Yes, it is. It's income derived.
Right.
And so the paperwork that you would have to fill out is an application,
Right.
which gives the vital information, name, address, information like that. Maybe a little bit of health information as well.
Sure.
And then there's a second sheet, which is a income statement that will ask for your income and your expenses, and because we do defray the majority of the costs on this.
I understand.
There is a small copay, but most of that. So it's driven by income, and there's limits that we have.
Sure. Can you guys bring up the next slide, please?
So this is back to our medical devices program. And we do about 200 devices a month.
Wow.
Giving out devices to people. This is hospital beds, big items, wheelchairs, down to crutches, canes, commodes, any of those items.
Right.
And we want to keep track of the numbers that we do so we can tell how we're doing. And,
Yes.
we also, I use those to go out and do fundraising
Oh, I would think.
for people, because we're a nonprofit. We generate some income that we'll talk about later
Yep.
for things, but to run this program
Takes a lot of money.
It's costly, and we need to recover our costs for parts and just supplies and things like
Sure.
that. And it allows us to buy some items that don't generally get donated.
Sure.
So, but most of it's donations, and we get those donations from individuals who will call up and say, we have a hospital bed or a wheelchair that's no longer being used by
Right.
our family.
Or
and we'd
even
love to
a
donate.
cart.
Yeah, carts,
Yeah.
walkers, just
Yeah.
all those things. And so they'll bring them in, or if there's no way for them to bring them in, we can arrange to have those picked up.
That's
So-
fantastic.
Yeah, and then we'll bring them in, refurbish them. The other thing is we get them from retirement homes and care homes.
Oh, sure.
There, and I make a trip to the Lincoln City twice a month to care homes and churches there, and these are devices that were previously thrown away. Because
Into the landfill.
Into the landfill, yes. $1,000 hospital bed.
Oh, my goodness.
That, if you don't have a connection, if you don't have a way to get it to somebody or a place to store it, it's really hard to deal with. So we're out collecting these things all the time and bring them back in, and we're kind of the conduit from the devices that are brought in to the people that need them.
Well, your recovery system is depleting the amount of recycle or such into
Yes.
the landfills.
Yeah, absolutely,
And
yes.
a great use for it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So, yeah.
Next slide, I think.
Yeah.
Who do we serve in the medical devices areas? We have individuals that just call up and they hear about our program. Jerry was around for a long time and talked to a lot of people and provided stuff to a lot of people. So we're pretty well known out there amongst them. But weren't real well known with the healthcare industry.
Sure.
So we made a real effort to go out, and we met with all of the hospitals, the medical practices, the retirement homes, care homes, and they all now are involved in the system. They know that we provide things, and they also know that we accept those items as well.
That's fantastic.
So, and we deal with a lot of home health care providers, nurses that go out and provide care in the home.
Right.
And so we're looking to provide this to people that have no insurance, low income, or anybody that needs it, really.
Right.
So
we've got about 4 minutes left.
Wow.
I
Okay.
know. So I want to jump right down to the next thing. Ian, if you could go to the sight and hearing aid section of your graphics, that would be great.
So this is if people need hearing aids or vision assistance, glasses, you can go to the Oregon Lions Sight and Hearing Foundation
Right.
Website.
It's a .org.
Yeah, .org. And go on there, and there'll be a tab that says vision assistance or vision program.
Sure.
And click into there, and you'll come up with the applications and the information. So,
There's the information that's on that website.
right. So hearing assistance is called ROAR, and then the hearing program is called LEAP.
Okay. So the eyeglasses are LEAP.
I'm sorry. Yes.
And,
LEAP.
and
ROAR
then ROAR is the hearing
assistance.
assistance. That's fantastic. And then there's surgery treatments and such.
Correct. After being screened, and if there's really issues that need to be addressed, that is an option that can be utilized,
Right.
depending upon referrals and the doctors that do the examination. And
Okay.
can
Go
I
ahead.
just throw in one quick thing?
Yeah, sure.
Some people that really we want to thank a lot for their support. Chuck Colvin Ford,
Sure.
they help us a lot with our Christmas tree lot program, and they've been...
We have time to talk about that yet.
Okay.
Okay. So let's talk about the Christmas tree program and the pancake breakfast.
It takes money to run these programs.
Boy, howdy.
The vision. And,
A lot more than people think.
absolutely. The value of the medical devices that we give out is about $10,000 a month.
Yeah.
And so it costs money to refurbish those. The hearing and vision programs, it costs money for the glasses and the hearing aids. We get a cut rate on them, but still it costs money, so we need to raise money. And we give out $16,000 a year in scholarships to kids. So, but to make that money, we have a pancake breakfast in June
Yep.
at the airport, where the Lions get to cook pancakes and eggs and ham, and we serve the public.
You've been doing that a long time.
Yes, absolutely. And then the big one for us is the Christmas tree sales, and we have a Christmas tree lot set up at Sears in McMinnville.
Yes.
And Sears is gracious enough to share their parking lot with us, which is their busy season at Christmas.
Right.
And they carve out a portion there and let us park there. So, and
Plus the U-Haul rental trucks are there too.
yes,
So-
absolutely, yeah.
So-
Yeah, it's a busy time, but
Yeah.
that's our biggest fundraiser. And quite often when we're working a lot, we get comments, people come in and say, they'll buy a tree and they'll say, I remember when I was a kid and the Lions helped me out with glasses.
Sure.
And it changed my life.
Yep.
And that's why we do this. That's why we sell those trees.
And they become members sometimes.
Yes. And
But talk about the wrestlers at the high school.
a couple of years, well, it was about a year ago, our group is aging, and when you're trying to heft those trees up on top of a car, yeah, you can fall over, and it gets to be a bit of an issue. So we approached the wrestling team, and I have a connection there with them, and
Sure.
and these are big, hardy kids, and they are always looking for some money.
Sure.
Because not everything is funded for them.
Right.
So we struck a deal with them that they will work hours on weekends for us, helping us to load trees and unload trucks, and it's turned out to be an amazing partnership and mentorship with these kids, and it mentors both ways.
Oh boy. Yeah.
A lot of people were a little wondering, these young kids, and these kids work so hard, and it changed the views on some members' eyes of the younger generation.
Sure.
And these younger generation look at these older people now and they say, wow, there's amazing people there.
Yes.
And they not only load the trees, but by the end of the season, they were hawking and selling the trees. They were dragging them out and, displaying them and talking people into buying trees.
Right.
So it's a program that we're going to continue.
Well, Brian, it's been great to be able to talk about McMinnville Lions Club and the Lions Club of Oregon. I know there's a lot more that we could have gotten into. Unfortunately, we've run out of time. So thank you so much
That was
for being
wonderful.
on.
Thank
you
you
so much. And thank you for watching today.